The world of basketball has recently been talking about the NBA and its 65-game rule, and it has made a lot of people share their opinions on the matter. For those who do not know, before the beginning of the season, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver issued a new rule where a player has to play at least 65 games in order to be eligible for in-season awards and all-team selections. The players who have been in the media recently that may be at risk to this rule in full effect are Joel Embiid and Tyrese Haliburton, two star-caliber players who could miss on big accomplishments. But players have definitely given their opinions on this topic, most notably Draymond Green and Tyrese Haliburton, expressing how they feel about the situation and the rule as a whole.
Quote, I think it's a stupid rule, like plenty of the guys in the league, but this is what the owners want.
Well, I think it's actually quite bullshit myself is to incorporate something at this point, a rule like 65 games. Guys didn't face those rules before.
Both players have the right to feel this way, considering that in a way it is a bit unfair that players who aren't as good may take someone's spot for an All-NBA selection or an MVP award. But that is just something that the NBA has to do because let's be honest here, the league has evolved and has gotten a lot more entitled. Players have now felt entitled to get the things that they want by any means and do not feel like playing because they do not want to get injured.
Well, blame some of your contemporaries, because it's their fault. It's not the league's fault. I'm talking about the fact that we're living in a day and age where you see people sitting out games to prevent injuries. You have an abundance of players, not most, not all, but too many players who are marquee, who are the billboards, that literally choose at their discretion to sit out games. So you know what? They came up with a strategy that's going to compel you to play in those games to ensure that you earn your damn money.
The poster boy for this entire movement was Kawhi Leonard because he pretty much started this trend of doing load management and sitting out to prevent injury or just to do rest, which ended up becoming a problem that the NBA did not expect would be this huge. And in my opinion, when has load management ever been actually helpful? Because the Los Angeles Clippers of 2020 are the biggest issue and outlier for this entire thing, because they were load managing like a lot during that season, and then they went on a whole hiatus because of the pandemic. And then they still had injury problems, and they still blew a 3-1 lead to begin with. So load management, in my opinion, has never done a team or a player justice because it just ends up creating more issues down the line. But that is not the only issue here, because let's face it, some players believe that the regular season is just pointless and the playoffs is what really matters, when in actuality, the regular season does matter. But some players just don't have that same mindset, and that's the issue here. Or another reason why players don't play is just because they do not want to play for their organization anymore. I mean, remember when Ben Simmons sat out a whole season and was perfectly fine with getting fined and costing the team a lot of money because they were paying him a big contract at the time, even to the point when he was in Brooklyn and he was cleared to play in the playoffs while his team was about to get swept, he still decided to not play. And that is just not even the worst of it. James Harden this year decided to sit out for so many games because he did not want to play for the Sixers anymore, and he was going on a whole tirade about Daryl Morey and just how he doesn't want to play for him again. Ben Simmons got what he wanted and Harden got what they wanted, and they just did not want to play anymore. And that is why I say that this league is full of players that are entitled. That mindset is exactly why I unfortunately do not like how the NBA is evolving today. Players just do not want to play when they're healthy, and it takes the fun out of the game and competitive spirit out of the game, and the fans unfortunately suffer for it. The fans come to see their favorite players play every day, and when their favorite player does not play, it just makes their entire experience just pointless because they spent all that money to see their favorite player play just to turn out that they don't play anymore. And I hate to be that guy, but players back then actually cared. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, all those all-time greats, they cared every single night that they played, and they wanted to put on a show because they figured that this is their fans' first time seeing them play, and they wanted to make sure that it was a great experience. Also because they were very competitive, but at the same time, players back then played because they wanted to. They didn't have to have an incentive to want to play and take things seriously.
All of these people that's played in the NBA, the Kareems, the Wilt, everybody that helped build this game, they couldn't have set out these games. You know, they didn't do it. Why didn't they do it? Because it wasn't just about them. It was about the league and really propping up the league and making sure you live up to a standard. They did it for the future generation of players. But some of them have basically gave the proverbial finger to the league, right, to the media, to the public.
And that honestly just feels like what players need nowadays. Players just feel like they need an incentive to want to actually take things seriously and play. Notice how competitive the games were in the in-season tournament. I have my issues about the in-season tournament as a whole, but Remember, there was a $500,000 pot for the winner, and every team was playing like it was Game 7 in the NBA Finals. Notice how the ratings were, how competitive the games were, how everyone was tuning in. I mean, nobody expected the Pacers to make it to the finals in the in-season tournament, but they were that great because they were taking it seriously. And now we're back to the regular season, the in-season tournament is over, and players are still sitting out and just not taking the regular season seriously.
We saw how people were playing during the in-season tournament when it was a mere $500,000 per play on the table. And it is clear certain games are prioritized, certain games are not. It is a disservice and a betrayal to the individuals, the pioneers who set the stage for them.
Now, maybe the issue is that the season is too long. I mean, me personally, I never had an issue with an 82-game structure, and if you shorten it, it just loses a lot of money for the league and for its players. But I don't think 82 games is the issue here. Now, with all that out the way, let's get to the real reason why I made this video in the first place. Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is currently diagnosed with a torn meniscus as I'm recording this video. He was probably going to miss a lot of time because, I mean, a meniscus tear is very serious, and he is definitely going to be ineligible for this MVP award. So with that, I ask this question. Should Embiid still have a chance at winning an MVP award even though he will not play the 65 games? In my opinion, that is where this whole rule ends up falling flat, and it ends up making me conflicted because even though I think it's necessary, and it definitely is a rule that should be placed for the rest of its time until the players want to take things seriously, it is unfortunate for Embiid because he's having an amazing season. I mean, he's leading the league in scoring. He's having one of the best seasons of his career, if not the best season of his career. His team is amazing in the Eastern Conference. Who knows how this is going to work if he's completely disqualified from the race, and then now it's just going to be Giannis and Jokic and insert the next third player for this award. But honestly, if Embiid does win this award still, that is going to cause a lot of issues because now there's a conversation of, oh, Embiid did not play the 65-game rule and a lot of players deserved it over him even though he had an amazing season. That is where there's going to be problems with this whole rule and everything. But at the end of the day, to all the players who are actually injured and have to sit out and miss games because they are unable to play, it's unfortunate they're being roped into this madness and will end up getting screwed over because of players who actually abuse this rule and decide just to not want to play. It is definitely not fair, and they are victims of a circumstance that's out of their control. But that's just the way it's going to have to be until players stop being entitled and start playing games when they are supposed to. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know it's been a minute since I've uploaded, but I'm definitely going to be uploading a lot more videos soon. Until then, I will see you guys next time. Y'all know what to do. NBA Nerd out.
Regard for human life. I want to go higher. It's over. Teron Lowe. Tyrese drop down. Kobe. The lob. Let's go. Shot.